Are you an angel? Ah, I'm just kidding. That's the worst line I've ever used. Hope some poor kid doesn't start using it.
Over the 25,000-year-long history of the Jedi Order, many Jedi rose above their peers to earn a place in the history texts. Many of these great Jedi, the likes of Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi among them, were seemingly always pure of heart, symbols of virtue and selflessness that most beings could only aspire to imitate. But not all great Jedi had spotless records, and the one we'll be discussing today couldn't have been more different from the likes of Yoda. This Jedi Sentinel lived during the time of the Old Republic, and before becoming a Jedi, he lived a much darker life. That of a murderer. His name was Atton Rand, and in this video, we'll be telling his story.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
I hope your talent for understatement is offset by your skill with a blaster. If not, then I fear our time together will be short indeed.
Yeah, and I'm also good at running and drinking, Your Majesty.
In 3951 BBY, the Jedi were all but extinct. Between casualties sustained in the Jedi Civil War and the subsequent purge carried out by Sith remnants, the whole order was believed to be exterminated. The galaxy believed only one Jedi remained, Meetra Surik, who was exiled after the Battle of Malachor V at the end of the Mandalorian Wars. For 10 years, she had roamed the edge of the galaxy, trying to forget and be forgotten. But in 3951 BBY, she returned, and after a run-in with a Sith warship, she ended up in a Bacta tank on an asteroid mine above Perigus II. While she was recovering in the Bacta tank, Sith hit the fan. She emerged from the tank to find the Perigus facility almost completely deserted. The miners were all dead, slain by reprogrammed mining droids. As she explored the abandoned facility, Surik discovered a sole survivor, a prisoner that had been locked in a force cage when the droids attacked, ironically saving him from a grisly death. He identified himself as Atton Rand, and after Surik helped him out of the force cage, he decided to team up with her, monitoring the comms systems as she made her way through the facility. Atton soon found himself a member of Surik's small party of allies, together with an older Force-sensitive woman named Kreia and the astromech T3-M4. After a run-in with an HK-50 assassin droid and the Sith Lord Darth Sion, Atton, Surik and the others narrowly escaped the Perigus facility aboard Surik's freighter, the Ebon Hawk. Atton piloted the Hawk as they fled from Sion, narrowly escaping as the Sith Lord blew up the entire Perigus asteroid field. Initially, Atton wasn't very happy about being roped into Surik's little crew, especially after the encounter with Sion and the narrow escape from Perigus. Kreia, who Atton assumed to be another Jedi, was also not thrilled with the arrangement. She disliked Atton and referred to him, both in private conversation and to his face, as the fool. But whether he liked it or not, Atton was in for the long haul. After escaping Perigus, he set the Ebon Hawk on course for Telos 4, where he and the rest of the crew were placed under house arrest due to suspicion over their involvement in the Perigus field's destruction. Even after they were cleared of suspicion, Atton couldn't get a break. The party's ship had been stolen and hid on Telos' ruined surface while they were under surveillance. Atton tagged along with Surik and Kreia during their adventures on Telos 4, where they were joined by a Zabrak mechanic named Bao-Dur. Bao-Dur helped them track the Ebon Hawk to a facility at one of Telos' poles, a secret academy run by the Jedi Master Atris. Atris, as it turns out, had been the one who stole the Hawk. She imprisoned Surik's party and brought Surik in for interrogation. During the party's short stint in Atris' cells, Kreia took the opportunity to read Atton's mind. She uncovered secrets that Atton had tried to bury and used them as blackmail, warning him that she would reveal everything to Surik if he didn't do as she wished. Her terms were simple. Atton was to stay with the party and continue to fly the Ebon Hawk. After escaping Telos, Meetra Surik set out on a quest to find the Lost Jedi, in particular looking for 4 Jedi Masters hiding on various war-torn worlds. She hoped she could convince the Jedi to come out of hiding and help battle the Sith Triumvirate, 3 powerful Sith Lords that threatened the Republic: Darth Sion, Darth Nihilus, and Darth Traya. Aton, per Krea's demands, went along with her. Aton rapidly warmed up to Surik after Telos, even going as far as to ask Bao-Dur, who had served with Surik at Malachor, what his chances were of landing a date with the exile. As both a skilled pilot and a good shot, he proved to be a useful asset to the team. Surik soon noticed that he also had some other unusual skills. He knew some Ichani combat forms rarely taught outside of commando units and techniques that allowed him to hide his thoughts from Force sensitives. After Telos, the crew of the Ebon Hawk traveled to Nar Shaddaa, a world that Aton seemed very familiar with. On Nar Shaddaa, while searching for Jedi Master Zez Kyle, Surik set about helping the many refugees who had ended up on the Smuggler's Moon, something that Aton couldn't help but admire. But during Surik's adventures in the refugee sector, she came across a pair of Twi'leks that recognized Aton. They requested a private conversation with her in which they informed the exile that Aton was not who he claimed to be and that he'd come to Nar Shaddaa before. He was a murderer, they claimed, and was not to be trusted. Surik eventually confronted Aton with this information and managed to coax Aton's backstory out of him. Aton had indeed been on Nar Shaddaa before, a deserter hiding among refugees fleeing the Jedi Civil War. He had fought for the Republic during the Mandalorian Wars, in which he saw millions of his comrades die while the Jedi Order stood by, hesitating to intervene and stop the Mandalorians. He had fought under Revan when he took command of the Republic fleet, following him all the way to Malachor 5, and after Malachor, he had continued to follow Revan. After the end of the Mandalorian Wars, Revan became the self-proclaimed Dark Lord of a new Sith Empire, and the Republic was split. Many in the Republic military defected at the start of Revan's war on the Republic, the Jedi Civil War, and Aton was among them. He knew where his loyalties lay, not to the Republic or the Jedi Council, but to the one Jedi who had joined the fight while the others hesitated. Aton hadn't been some run-of-the-mill Sith trooper, however. He had hunted Jedi.
People say killing Jedi is hard. It's not. You just have to be smart about it. No blasters, no getting close to them, no attacking them directly when you can gun down their allies instead. There's ways of gassing them, drugging them, making them lose control, torturing them. I was really good at it.
All those years of war led Aton to despise the Jedi, and when he was given an opportunity to track down and murder Jedi for the Sith, he eagerly accepted. He became skilled at hiding his thoughts behind walls of strong emotion and adopting different identities. He developed techniques of hunting Jedi, often choosing to wound Padawans to weaken the wills of their masters. But Aton wasn't just a murderer, he had served as an interrogator for the Sith as well, responsible for torturing the Jedi until they fell. That, to him, had been the best part of all, making the Jedi see his point of view. Over the course of the Jedi Civil War, Aton did unspeakable things in Revan's name. One day, however, a Jedi tracked Aton down and confronted him. She told him he was Force sensitive, which was why he had been so good at killing Jedi, and warned that the Sith would make him into a Dark Jedi if they found out. In retaliation for this, Aton captured and tortured her, intending to give her the slowest and most painful death he could manage. Just as she was about to die, the Jedi awakened the Force within Aton, allowing him to truly feel life around him. Aton killed her for it, but not out of hatred. As he later realized, it had been an act of mercy. He realized that everything the Jedi told him was right, and that she'd saved him from a terrible fate at the hands of the Sith.
In the end, she sacrificed herself to keep my secret, to prevent the Sith from knowing about that touch of the Force inside me. She wasted her life to save me. Me.
After this, Aton deserted the Sith and hid out on Nar Shaddaa, becoming a smuggler and running from guilt. He wanted nothing more than to forget, to lose himself in whatever vices he could find, but when he met the exile in Paragus, Aton saw her as a chance to make up for what he had done, and he took it, vowing to keep Surik safe to atone for his crimes. Initially, he hadn't wanted her to learn about his past, but when she asked, he told her everything. After all was said and done, the most remarkable thing of all happened. Surik forgave him. Aton asked her to awaken the Force within him, to train him as a Jedi. Surik did. As the crew of the Ebon Hawk traveled across the galaxy, searching for the Lost Jedi, the exile began to train Aton as a Jedi Sentinel. Aton was the first of the Jedi trained by Surik, but not the last. As the crew of the Hawk grew, Surik began training others as well. Aton and the others helped Surik hunt for Jedi Masters hiding on Nar Shaddaa and Onderon, on Dantooine and Korriban, using their newfound abilities to bring the fight to the Sith. On Nar Shaddaa, Aton helped protect Surik and the others from bounty hunters searching for the last of the Jedi. He battled a pair of fearsome assassins known as the Twin Sons and rescued Surik when the exchange captured her. Above Onderon, Aton's piloting skills helped the crew of the Hawk escape an orbital battle with Onderonian separatists, and Aton later joined the Exile's other students in defeating a force of Sith on Duxon, Onderon's demon moon. Together, the crew of the Ebon Hawk gathered the surviving Jedi Masters on Dantooine. But there, everything went wrong. Kreia, as it turned out, had been Darth Traya the whole time. She killed the Jedi Masters, tricked Darth Nihilus into taking Telos 4, and then went to the Trayus Academy on Malachor 5, where she supplanted Darth Sion as Master of the Academy. Even with the Jedi Masters dead, however, Meetra Surik wasn't ready to give up. She, Aton, and the others helped defeat Darth Nihilus above Telos. Then they pursued Kreia to Malachor 5. After a crash landing on Malachor, the crew of the Ebon Hawk was separated. As Meetra Surik made her way to the Trayus Academy alone, her Jedi students, Aton among them, found a shortcut and were able to confront Kreia before she arrived. When Kreia easily defeated the other Jedi trainees, however, Aton fled, only to come face to face with Darth Sion. Sion attacked, but Aton, using lightsaber techniques he had learned from Surik, was able to wound the Sith Lord, or at least stall him long enough to escape. Meetra Surik eventually made it to the Trayus Academy, rescued her other companions, and slew both Darth Sion and Kreia. At the end of it all, she found Aton waiting for her. Together, the two returned to the Ebon Hawk and left Malachor 5 behind. Surik's quest was complete. She went out looking for the Lost Jedi, and in the end, she'd found them. The Jedi Masters she had been looking for were all dead, but along the way, Surik had gathered lost souls and awakened them to the Force. In a way, Aton and the others were the Lost Jedi, the true Jedi, upon whom the future of the Order rested. After Malachor, Meetra Surik left the Republic on a new mission, and she left her companions behind. Aton and the others worked together to rebuild the Jedi Order, to correct the mistakes of the past and create a better future. Aton Rand, once a ruthless Jedi killer, helped resurrect the Jedi Order, and for as long as he lived, he never forgot the woman who had shown him the light.
Need any company? I mean, I'm not doing anything. Besides, if I'm not around to bail you out of trouble, who knows what could happen. All right then. Where are we going again? I mean, because last time we were heading towards this mining colony on the edge of space and there was this Sith Lord and...
Redemption is a recurring theme in Star Wars, but usually it's a last-minute thing, something that characters attain as they lie dying. Aton Rand was an exception to that rule. After a long journey, with the help of Meetra Surik, he forged a new life for himself, making up for the grievous wrongs he had committed in the past. But what do you think? Would you like to hear the stories of the other Lost Jedi? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.